Okay, we're live on YouTube.
And welcome to Medical Mondays, y'all. This is your host with the most THC in his motherfucking bloodstream, BERG. And of course, I got my right-hand man, my compadre, my co-host with me, and El Rocho. What up, Bill?
What up? Dope.
Of course, we got our man, C Murder in the building.
For what?
Oh, yeah.
And our boy Scope.
Yeah.
And we got our special guest today, Rick Thompson's in the building. And have we heard from our invited guests?
Oh yeah, that guy will be around somewhere. You know, if there's a free meal, he'll be around. So you know.
We have not heard from our special invited guest.
Well, anyways, I want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors. Of course, we got Treetop Labs, Honeybee Extractions, Native Made 313, Ghostbuster Farms, Western Tobacco, Michigan Ganja Queen, Valhalla Laboratories, Ypsilanti Oil Company, Michigan Turf Farms, and Label My Motherfucking Bud, y'all.
How about that logo for Michigan Ganja Queen? What a nice piece of work that is.
It is. It is. But yeah.
Ray,
Michigan
Rick,
Ganja
are you a fan of anime titties?
Titties in general. I mean,
Like cartoon,
Hey,
cartoon, real, I don't care.
yeah,
I'm saying.
lifelong fan. Lifelong fan.
Yeah, what's everybody got rolled up for tonight?
I'm actually rolling up Michigan Ganja Queen right now, peanut butter breath. And
Yeah, that's what I got rolled up.
smells like peanut butter.
I'm about to spark it up.
I've got some sharp cheese. I'm going to infuse it with a little bit of this special moon rock I got from a long time ago, back from High Times magazine. So
Damn.
sharp cheese with some rock.
What you smoking on, Scoop?
I got some of this Michigan Ganja Queen. So,
Ooh.
hey, good fire.
Yeah, I also got some hella fat OG rolled up too. So I'm smoking good tonight.
Hell yeah.
But yeah. So
If anybody cares, I got some Michigan Ganja Queen too. And I'm gonna roll it all up. I got wedding cake, I got some cherry OG KB, and I got some peanut butter breath. And
What'd you say?
I am the only guy without any Michigan Ganja Queen. I feel bad for me. Don't you guys also feel bad for me? That would be nice if you did. Colin's not really there. Yeah, not feeling the love. All right.
Man, come through.
You got a diamond there, Rick. I don't feel bad for you today.
Yeah. It's actually not a diamond. It's actually a big old moon rock.
Moon
but
rock,
yeah,
my bad.
I'm all right. Oh, I'm well provisioned. Thank you.
Yeah. Man, I was gonna roll up some Skittles, but I didn't yet. Well, shout out to Dylan. Dylon's in the chat. What up, though?
Dylon.
Dylon.
My top 5 favorite listeners. Dylon.
Pretty much.
Who else?
I don't know. Who else is in here? Oh, shit. I know I'm in there.
Oh, Anna's in there too. Shout out to Anna.
Okay, shout out Anna. What's been
But yeah, big shout out to our boy Uncle Stoner for stopping in last week.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Yeah. I don't know. My Turf Farms is gonna reach out to a special somebody, and I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get him on the show. I don't want to mention any names or anything, but
Don't name drop, Bert.
all right. Since you said that, but yeah, hey, see murder.
What?
What's going on in the news, man?
Oh, you're already? Already? Well, there's lots of stuff going on. Hey, Rick. Wants to know about the news.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what?
He wants to know about the news and what's going on.
No?
Do you like my
So
drink?
I can go over a couple things.
Knock it out, and then we'll discuss whatever you missed, man.
Okay, so there's a lot of things going on in states. Minnesota House tried to pass a bill to allow whole plant medical marijuana, but it was killed by the Minnesota Senate. Also, the House of Representatives in Congress passed the Marijuana Banking Act again as part of the coronavirus stimulus package over the weekend. So that's big, pretty much the biggest story right now. And then also in Portland, they're gonna try and decriminalize nature through the city council rather than go to a ballot. And there's like 2 ballot initiatives in Oregon to decriminalize all illicit one to decriminalize all illicit substance, one to legalize psilocybin, and they're now working together. So that's pretty cool. And I think there was some more. There was a couple states in the on the East Coast that they're trying to pressure to get the governors to legalize it in some way, shape through like executive order during this coronavirus crisis. Yeah, but they're also saying that the stimulus package in the coronavirus that was passed is probably going to be like held up in the Senate again. So, yeah. Was there anything you wanted to touch on, Rick, or add to it?
You know, in the Michigan legislature, there's some bills for cannabis law reform. Nothing's really going anywhere right now. They did have a hearing for one bill. Now, if you work at the marijuana regulatory agency, it's not that many people. If you have a decision-making position over cannabis law, not that many people. If you're the wife or husband of one of those people, it's not that many folks. If you want to start a cannabis business and you're one of those people, it's an even smaller group. So there's this little teeny tiny sliver of people. And they had a bill introduced in the legislature to make it legal for them to actually start a cannabis business. So this can't affect more than 20, 30 people in the entire state. It's a really small sliver of people. But when you know people, when you know folks, you can get shit done. And apparently one of them was inconvenience, and they pushed some buttons and they got a bill introduced to save their ass on this project they want to do.
Wow.
Still a kind of a disgusting little reminder of how power is wielded in Lansing, even during a COVID-19 crisis.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Those
I'm
people
not
shouldn't be
surprised
denied.
at all.
Go ahead, Roachman.
No, I said I'm not surprised at all. Go ahead.
Those people shouldn't be denied an opportunity. I think it's wrong that they get accidentally snatched up, and because they're a wife or a husband of somebody who works at the department, that they're denied an opportunity to get in the cannabis field. We say no to too many people in the cannabis field. I'd like us to say yes, but it seems like an awful lot of work for a real skinny amount of Michiganders when there's so much else going on, like expungement, like, helping local communities make good cannabis laws.
Isn't like there like a Laura, like head who's like married to like a very powerful lobbyist?
In fact, she is.
That's what I thought.
The head of licensing and regulatory affairs. Her husband is a leader of a very powerful lobbying firm. Yes. Her name is Hawks.
Mhm.
So.
Orlean Hawks or something like that.
Arlene Hawks. We've always said a little bit of a conflict of interest there. How can you be making rules for an industry? Well, what they did in order to avoid the conflict of interest was take the marijuana regulatory agency and make it like a separate and co-equal agency. So technically, Orlean Hawks doesn't have any control over them, supposedly, but we all know how that shit works.
But I mean, isn't everybody on that board in a conflict of interest? Isn't there like ex-state police, somebody that's on the board of directors?
No,
for
that's
CPS
gone
or
now.
Yeah, they dissolved that board earlier in 2019.
Big
Yeah, that
break.
one was a mess, bro.
It was crazy, man. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Ex-cops and people who've never held a joint in their life making rules for an industry they didn't understand and they were poorly prepared for. And then the format of that whole thing where they were not able to have any conversations that weren't on a hot mic, that's kind of a tough way to make law. So it was a fucked up situation. That's what the legislature did. The legislature created that board and inserted it into the MMFLA program. So those lawmakers created this problem for themselves.
Right.
Well, for as bad as it is here in Michigan, man, it can't be as bad as they have it in Massachusetts. Apparently, adult use cannabis was deemed unessential throughout this COVID crisis. So they've just been stuck up Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
But apparently they recently got a reopen date. I believe it's the 25th of this month. And they've all been closed since March. All the rec shops.
We're seeing June 1st as a date that I'm seeing in a lot of different places as a reopen date for a lot of industry. But you're right, Roach. I mean, in Michigan, the governor's been pretty damn fucking good to us. Let's say it. She kept our places open. She gave us freedoms we didn't have before. She let us do telemedicine now. She let us do curbside pickup. She expanded delivery beyond who could have it. She loosened a lot of rules, but while also protecting patient, safety, while having some protocols too. A lot of other industries got shut the fuck down, right? Dust on their machines while we're making bucks in the legalized world. So, nothing.
Well, we're not making bucks.
Yeah,
But somebody is.
I ain't making bucks. I'm in trouble, actually. But yeah, the people who
contributing
got
to
their
this.
licenses, man, and the people who work for those places, and the patients who depend on them for their medicine, being able to have delivery service when the governor says you can't go out and drive, having somebody drop it off to your house, it's pretty cool.
It is. Another state that's got a bitch ass government is Arizona. Because for all the cannabis initiatives that they were trying to have on the ballot this year, the government is refusing to accept digital signatures for petitions. Even with social distancing in place, they're
Yeah.
requiring people to sign. They want I don't know how they would even get those signatures. Go door to door in a COVID crisis.
We got the same problem in Michigan with trying to collect signatures for petition drives, whether it's to put something on the ballot or get a person elected to office. That whole situation's messed up because you've lost a crucial amount of time that we needed to collect signatures in order to make any of those things valid. So, yeah, it's kind of messed up. There's a lot of other reasons why Arizona is not the greatest place. You know, Nevada, they love our shit in Nevada, man. You can do anything you want in Nevada. They love around Vegas. Fuck. But right next door, Arizona's not so nice.
Well, in happier news, this cherry nut cake joint that I rolled is phenomenal.
Oh, man,
Phenomenal.
I rode one of those back road joints last night. You would have been proud of it. It was perfect. I'm gonna post a video later.
Anytime I see a backwards world joint, I'm proud.
For sure. I perfected it too. I was like, this for Roach right here, boy.
Scoop got it. Man. So yeah, apparently Massachusetts, Arizona, and I think there's a story out of Louisiana. Have you guys heard? Hold on, let me see. I thought it was interesting. The House of Representatives in Louisiana is advancing a medical cannabis bill. So I guess they're trying to do more, but by no way, shape, or form are they like Massachusetts and Arizona, who just seem to be like sticks in the mud, not wanting the revolution to happen. It's already happening.
Well, here in Michigan, there were a lot of people that wanted to get local initiatives passed, right? A lot of communities that said no to cannabis businesses. A lot of folks want to get petitions to make them say yes, but we're probably not going to be successful with that in any of the larger cities. In a city like Detroit or Flint or Pontiac, you need to collect so many signatures that you really need almost a full season to collect them. In a smaller place like, Harrison or someplace like that, Clio, you could easily do it in a short time. But for a lot of those local initiatives, people are not going to get that chance. And it's not just the cannabis issue too. People want to put things on the ballot to protect their neighborhoods or to.
Do they have petitions at the dispensaries? That would be awesome. You know how many signatures they'd be able to get?
Well, we did that in 2016 for legalize one, and we did it for the 2018 ballot proposal for the legalization, and it worked out all right. So for our people, for our cause, folks will sign that. If you're to put one there for a specific representative or a senator, I don't think people would go for it. So
Is like
Yeah,
kind of like I don't know, it's good in theory, but at the same time, like if not all the dispensaries or like only a handful of them like go along with it, like, and only some of them do it properly too, because like it is like kind of, I don't know. I just found that we did do it well in the beginning when it was like the Michigan legalized 2016 petition, but with the 2018 petition, just everyone was like not as friendly about it. And I'd say.
When you can go there and when we can train someone on how to collect petitions properly and to make sure that they know that they have to be in control of their petition sheets throughout the entire life of those petition sheets. They have to take them home with them. They have to bring them in every day out of their car and have their sheets and only their sheets there for people to sign. When they understand that, it works out pretty well. But when the next wave of employees comes in and they're like, oh, give me some sheets, and someone just peels a couple of sheets off without any instruction, that's where vulnerability comes in. That's where there's people that can question the validity of your signatures. So it's a tough one to do because people really want to help and you want to empower them to help. But this is a way that sometimes creates more of a hindrance than an assistance.
Yeah.
Yep. But
And
when
that's
folks want to help, don't turn that hand away. Give them something to do, you know? Nowadays, it's so tough to get people to get excited about anything. When you do get them excited about something, be ready for it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that say to me, I want to get in the news. My website's going to launch in a month. I'm like, fucking don't get in the news. Why would you want to do that? You're going to generate interest, and then people are not going to have anywhere to go to learn more. You have to wait till your website's ready to go and it looks good before you start attracting people to it. You can do media too early and then it's all wasted. They saw you one time, they couldn't learn anything more, and then wait till your shit's ready. Infrastructure. I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are disillusioned in general, but especially with the government, local government and state government as it concerns cannabis. Like, you know, we wouldn't have been able to like get as far as we've gotten and pass the stuff that we've passed without people that don't, consume cannabis supporting the initiatives as well.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of those people feel like they were taken advantage of. Even though they don't have like their quote unquote finger on the pulse of the community, anybody that watches the news can see that it's a bunch of fuckery going on with this cannabis. And like they might have, lent their vote in an effort to help, but it didn't seem like it helped.
A lot
I
of
don't know,
people.
maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I see.
I don't know what kind of fuckery you're talking about, though, man. I mean, people are getting licensed. People are buying cannabis. It seems like the system's working okay. We're not getting the right people in business. We're not getting people out of jail the way that we should. But I mean, by and large, the system is working the way it was designed.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like people that maybe they felt were going to be that they were helping. They found out that they were in fact helping corporations come in and make that money.
Yeah. No, dig it. It's a valid criticism, no doubt. The way they set the rules to mimic the MMFLA, where it has this big, gigantic hoop to get into, it's not what we wanted. They certainly
Tried
did.
to make the hoop smaller,
Yep.
basically.
Tried to make it easier. We cut down all of the penalties too, from felonies to misdemeanors, from misdemeanors to just civil infraction tickets, trying to make it easier for the average guy. Now that stuff's been pretty much put in place, and that stuff's working pretty good. But our goal was to have social equity really mean something, and it doesn't. Our goal was to have cannabis being a diversified industry, and it is not. Our goal was to make an easy step for people to get into this industry, and it seems like it's not the easy step we envisioned. And we expected them to already have popped a bunch of people out of jail that are still in lockup, man. So some shit we wanted just not come true.
And like I feel like the language and just the way even the term social equity is framed. Last year when High Times asked us to be a part of their discussion panel on social equity, even Berg had apprehensions. He's like, why are they asking me? Like, that seems like it's for minorities. I'm not a minority, and it's not. It's just kind of like the language of it all just seems like disenfranchising. I don't know really how to. I guess I'm at a loss on how to frame it, but it doesn't
Seems like it missed the
doesn't
mark, right?
sound-
Seems
it
like it's
doesn't
not
sound like.
really helping who it was supposed to.
Yeah.
So in
I mean-
Michigan, there's a rule, an affirmative action law, and it says that you cannot identify a particular group of people in Michigan for advantage or disadvantage based on their race. So even though we wanted to say African Americans deserve a discount and this is what they should get, the law of the state of Michigan says you can't do that. So we had to find a way to identify groups of people that we thought were deserving without being able to identify them by race. Not because we didn't want to or because it wasn't worthy. It's because that's the way the stupid fucking law is made. And that's back from the 80s and we're still stuck with it. So it's just the way that things are. So there's a lot of ways in which this couldn't be adjusted the way we wanted it to be. I understand some of those things, but when there was decisions made by the Marijuana Regulatory Agency that they had discretion over and they did not do what we wanted to do, that's what burns me. So.
Yeah, it seems like the government's always doing shit that we don't want them to do.
That's the whole thing, man. Citizens
I mean,
versus government, right?
Yeah. I mean, it going back to, conflict of interest is like, that's all that government seems to be nowadays is a conflict of interest. I mean, from almost every fucking president, since JFK, like they've had their hands in money dealing with, military or oil or everything, man.
When Trump started appointing foreign advisors as ambassadors to foreign countries, and I saw he was putting all these people that had donated heavy to those campaigns in all these ambassador positions, I was like, fuck this guy, what? And then I learned everybody does that. When a new president, Democrat or Republican, comes in, this is one of the ways in which they reward their big donors is by giving them these titles that they'll keep for the rest of their lives. You'll always be called ambassador if you were an ambassador just one time. So the system's fucking set up to put people in place, Berg, that are fucking not right.
No, it's like all this stimulus money, for this COVID stuff, and it's like they're bailing out billion-dollar corporations. Like, what about all these mom and pop shops that are getting shut down? It's like,
or even the debate about cannabis businesses. They've already been deemed essential, and yet they're like, don't know if they should help them out. It's clearly helping the economy. It's helping citizens. Like, what the fuck is the problem? It's a business. They pay taxes. Get over it.
They don't want federal dollars to be used for cannabis businesses because it's so federally.
And you know what? As my grandfather
used to goes say, back to the stupidity about it still being on Schedule 1. If they had fixed.
True. That's something that's been lacking. I agree. And yeah, that's like another thing. Maybe I'm just, projecting how I feel, but like for all the strides that we've made for cannabis to still be considered a Schedule 1, man, like, did we really do anything yet? I don't know.
It's a lot of people.
It's almost like the cannabis industry needs some fucking lobbyists. You know what I mean? But guess what? If we get those lobbyists, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be for big ass corporate fucking cannabis. And they're going to be paying these motherfuckers to take our home grows away. I'm so.
You know what, Bert? Let's just you and me become lobbyists.
Yeah.
You don't have to become a lobbyist to still influence the legislature to do good things. A lot of us have done that over the years to get them to stop stupid programs. Things like that too. You don't have to be a lobbyist to still put your finger on things.
Yeah.
A lot of people have dropped though. I mean, I remember folks that started out with fire in their eyes and hunger in their belly, and they saw how the system just wasn't responding. And no matter how many truths they would spout, they would still get a door slammed in their face, and it became disheartening, and they just dropped, man. And you can't fault people for that. Everybody has a tolerance level that's different, and some people just can't be lied to over and over and over and over and over without having a consequence, man.
I'm so sick of that shit, man. It's like it's all the government. I mean, and then it's like, oh, why are people questioning everything we say? It's like, what the fuck do you tell the truth about? Like,
Government earned our
Ask
suspicion.
that question to China.
ask China.
Right.
What? Whatever, man.
I know. Well, yeah, there's no easy solutions, that's for sure. And the crisis gives us an opportunity to think more about it than it would otherwise. Think about this, man. If it wasn't the crisis right now, we'd be listening to Joe Biden and Donald Trump talking about how each other are the worst things in the world, man. It would be just filling up the airwaves. It would just
so
all the
boring.
negativity. What's that, Kyle?
It'd be so boring.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I think it'd be entertaining, man. I think it'd be entertaining.
I
don't know. What about Trump? Trump just dropping all these warrants against all these Russians that the Mueller investigation said cheated in the 2016 election. Trump just said, hey, fuck it.
Oh, our boy.
It's a pass. Go ahead.
Our boy Dylon wants to know how that moon rock is, Rick.
Actually, it was smoking really good. I thought I fucked it up somehow, but it is nice. I like to spike a joint, whether it's with a snake, or with a couple little sprinkles of. I really do. I like it. This is late at night, so it's tough for me to finish a whole joint because I've been smoking all day long. So if I'm just taking a few hits like that, having a nice little piece of moon rock in there, and then cutting myself off and waiting a couple minutes, that's the way I like to do it.
Man, I went over by Native Maids before the show, and man, like, she's like, I think I was over there for probably like a half hour, and then it was like we smoked like 3 or 4 joints. I was like, and I told her, I was like, I got to do the show. I can't be so high. But she never.
Yeah, no, Deb will get you fucked up quick.
No, yeah. And she'll be like, oh, here, eat this edible.
Yeah, no, she like her secret is she'll like light up a joint and give it to you, and then while you're hitting it, she lit like 2 other joints somehow. And they're just like in the rotation. 2 people smoking, but 3 joints going. I don't know how she does it. Shout out Native Man.
I think is that Drafty Bastard in this chat? He said, I'm here for the intense CBD discussion. That sounds like something Drafty would say.
Oh,
I don't even know if it's him though. I want to say it is.
That is him.
All right, but
Yeah, be on the lookout. Somebody might join the Zoom.
all right. I've been.
All right.
I've been on that shit.
All right.
All right. I'm sparking up the Hella Fat OG right now. I'm on number 2. Right? Personally,
I'm rolling up number 2.
I'm probably on like number 8 of the day.
Oh, for the day?
I'm like 5 for the day.
8. I'm not numbers low. I'm probably at like 3. I got low numbers today.
I want to say this is I carried
smoking my bong, so
Elway up them stairs. Drafty wants to bring up. He brought 37 Telway coffees up those stairs. Roach.
Salute.
37 Tailways.
Yeah. You ever have Telways, Rick? Guess not.
he probably doesn't know what they are.
What'd you say?
You ever had Telways?
Telways. Hang on a second. I'm off your Zoom. I'm doing something else. Telway, that's like Coney Island, right? I mean, fucking it, right?
It's like a slider place, but
yeah, I have.
We get coffee from there
Yeah. Yep, I have.
for sure. For sure.
You know, I love some of the Detroit places. I love the donut place. It's right down the street from Jamie's house. What's that famous on Woodward Avenue? The famous donut place there?
Oh, you go
Dutch
there.
girl.
Yeah, hey, Dutch Girl. Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, Dutch
Oh.
girl.
You know it. And I've been digging on this. Was it Asian corned beef? What?
Oh yeah.
I seen you on the Asian corned beef, Rick. I seen you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I couldn't stop. I barely had time to take a picture before I just jammed my face right against the counter to get it all in there.
Oh man.
Seen you.
So good.
All right. Well, I had a question for the guest, man, but I'm gonna ask everybody here since we're looking for shit to talk about. With as far as like weed has come, like like I don't know, when I started smoking weed, it just tasted like weed, and now we just got like this plethora of terps, and like the orange terp is just like so prevalent in weed too. Like like that shit really does taste like oranges. It's not like you're smoking a plant, you're smoking a fucking orange, which is awesome. So like for everybody in here, like what for you is like the most significant terp, or like terp that's like just blown you away every time? And like what is like a terp you would like to see in weed? Because like I've even had weed that tasted like fucking meatloaf and fucking pastrami and shit. So it's like desserts, full course dinners. There's like a whole thing going on with the weed, man. What do you guys think about that? What's like some shit you want to see?
I want an Asian corned beef.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I'm just saying, for Detroit, we need to come out with a Coney strain. Like we need some weed that tastes like a Coney.
With onions and mustard and everything.
We need to start calling joints a Lafayette. Give me a Lafayette.
Yeah,
Fire up a Lafayette.
Let's be like Lafayette number 6. Or something like that.
It's got to be Dooley's.
Yeah, it'd be the Southwest Dooley's.
I don't know. I mean, they're both good. I like Lafayette a little more.
You've had Dooley's?
Yeah, I've had Dooley's. I've been to Southwest a bunch of times.
It ain't the same as back in the day, though, bro.
What you know about my hood, C Murder?
Man, I know all about it. What street you grew up on?
know all about it.
I'm 18th and Porter.
Where?
18th and Porter.
18th and Porter. Oh yeah.
See,
I was always around there. But I was younger. I'm a lot younger than you. You got understand.
I live right down the street from Woodmere Cemetery.
All right. I was
Yeah,
right down
I
the
used
street
to
from
like
the
hang out there at night, and
He used to go and hang out at Woodmere Cemetery at night.
Yeah, and rough up all the like smaller kids.
He's like, I don't really care for cemeteries, but bitches do. I see you out there, C Murder, man. You a player, bro. I ain't even gonna look you up.
Got that Big Bang Theory thing going on there. You know it.
Exactly.
But no, seriously, back on topic. Rick, you smoked a ton of weed in your life. What was like the terp that blew you away?
When I started judging for High Times Cannabis Cups, was the first time I had really been exposed to the tangerines, right? Tangy, serious tangy, the tangy that you can smell before you even open the baggie, right? And I mean, I was with Big Daddy's. We had 5 dispensaries across the state. I never had tangy like that, no matter my experience. And I love that shit. Now, I know some people, especially bud tenders, don't like it because it's so stanky, but that tangerine to me, when I smell that coming in, I'm already thinking this is an awesome fucking piece of work. So to me, any kind of a terp that you add for flavor has to have a corresponding scent aspect to it too, because man, your nose is the strongest sense organ that we have in our body. So you got to have something that really communicates what's going to be, like a blueberry that smells like a blueberry, right? Like wet pussy that smells like wet pussy, you know, strains that really just represent, man.
Hopefully it smells like the right wet pussy.
Well, you know, I'm
It's
from
either
Flint,
wet
so
pussy or mop water. We can't tell.
it's rude. You need a better glass of hoe. No.
Oh man.
Yeah, respect though.
No, that's just my thing. You know, got to have something up top as well as it's got to have the flavor too. That's why I love the tangerines, man. More like that.
Tangies your go-to.
Fuck yeah! If I had one joint before they electrocuted my ass, that's where I'm going.
You deserve it then.
The electrocution or the
Yeah, if you want Tangy that bad, you deserve the electrocution.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's a harsh sentence.
You like Tangy?
Oh,
I was dazed.
As soon as he hits that shit, hit the switch.
one drag is all you get. No exhale even, right?
Roach wouldn't even put the sponge in the bucket, right?
Oh, so mean.
I wouldn't even put a sponge. I'd put an orange up there.
Yeah, Tangy this motherfucker.
Yeah, nah. I mean, that's just my preference. You know, there's there's not a lot of weed, but there's a couple of strains that are fairly popular that I just don't agree with me. You know, it's not my thing. Like the sunshine that most people have, that's like mildewy. I can't stand that. And then mostly tan.
Hey,
Do a break line like a cottony texture, it's not
my boy
Hey,
G.
Look, we
that
got Rick.
strain,
He's
bro.
old school.
That strain go like that. It's weird. It's weird.
Now, Rick, do you remember in the late 80s, early 90s, there was like apple weed? And to my understanding, it was weed that was shipped with apples.
Yeah, I
And
heard
how
too at one point that
like
they grafted cannabis on an apple tree and then grew the shit that way too. I heard. I'm telling you, there was no knowledge in the 80s, right?
Right.
I mean, if you didn't get High Time magazine, you were fucked.
Now, I don't know how they did that, if it really was leached or if it was like interbred or whatever the fuck, but I've yet to taste some weed that tastes like that. Even like I've had apple fritter and different quote unquote like Applejack. I mean, but Applejacks don't really taste like apple either. But either way, it never kind of captured the essence of what I was hoping to taste from my experience, you know, back in the day with that apple.
I do remember. I remember seeing an article in High Times magazine where it said take a sewing needle with thread attached and drive it through the stalk of your plant, and then put that thread into some essential oil from, say, grape, right, or whatever, and then that oil feeds up through the string naturally through the wicking action, and that essence of oil gets into the plant, and then that eventually would be consumed as a sugar in the leaves and the flower. And that's one of the ways High Times told us to try and flavor our cannabis all the way back then. That's how little we knew.
Wow.
Yeah. So you could have one branch that had a little vial of strawberry hanging from it, one branch had a little vial of grape hanging from it.
See, I've tasted strawberry weed. I've tasted pineapple weed. I've tasted tangy weed. I've even had
grape.
Yeah,
grapefruit.
Strawberry, you know, the lung candy, that was super fire, but I've never had apple Yeah, I mean, like a true apple that
And
tastes
it
like.
wasn't like it was some draw. It wasn't like when Northern Lights would be out or something like that. It was like some regular weed. It was like some mids for back in the day.
We got
Like lime
Jimmy
fucking
Rolls,
green.
motherfucker.
It would be lime green off a brick, and it would taste like fucking apples.
Jamie's old as dirt. He probably remembers that shit
What's that?
The apple weed.
back from the
We're
90s
talking
and
about
80s.
the old brick weed that used to taste like apples.
Yep.
No, I don't remember that.
And it was like there was stories like it was like interbred with an apple tree, like Rick said, and
Grafted
like,
on an apple tree. Yep.
Remember
they-
smoking it through some apples, some homemade bites
Yeah.
of apples.
you know, also like that it was shipped with apples and the flavor leached into the weed, you know, into the bricks because of the apples. Like it was a bunch of bullshit, but it like legitimately tasted like apples. And I don't know, I haven't seen that come back. I don't know, maybe that's one of the land races we lost.
I think someone was fucking with you.
No, so it's a real thing.
I was watching this show. They was bringing marijuana over in watermelons. Like they cut the
Oh,
watermelon
I saw
up.
that shit, bro.
It was like a pound of weed in a watermelon, and they like glued it back together. It was a real watermelon too.
Mhm.
Crazy.
I'd rather have
They
the
had a whole truck of them.
Rather
How do you
have
discover that?
They had a
know,
whole truck of watermelon.
Cop
rather
just
have it
takes
be
one of.
rather have it be shipped with watermelons and apples than diesel fuel, which is sometimes how it's made it into the country.
Yeah, and gas tanks and shit. Yes, that's true.
Oh, but that's like a solvent, man. It would rob you of all the THC.
You wrap it in stuff. You encase it in like plastic before you put it in the tank, and then
Yeah, but
You drive
sometimes it
across.
was
Oh,
obviously
Rick's got a
it was
technique.
effective.
You know how to do that, Rick?
no, this was common smuggler shit from the 80s, man.
Rick's
Watch an old episode of Miami Vice, and you'll learn. I mean,
Like, Rick got booked.
just don't wear the clothes, but learn.
Write that down.
Yeah. I come to America, I learn
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, don't. But oh man,
What you smoking on, Jamie?
Sour OG right now.
What?
Ooh, super sour.
That's one of my favorites.
Oh
Rick,
man,
I think.
did you read this, Roach? This prop one said the apple fritter right now is pretty close to it from DGE.
who's DGE? Who's that extraction company?
Okay, so I'm gonna, you know what?
What you say?
I'm gonna share with y'all.
Nigga,
Now,
what?
Bird knows this story, and he's never outed me. In the 15, 20 years since this shit happened, to my knowledge, Berg has kept his word and not told anybody. And like I never, had somebody come back and be like, hey, you sold me some repack. But in my youth, I did pull some repack moves, So I know that it's bad. And then at a certain point, you gain pride in your ability to mimic the real shit, and you become a little monster, man. So, like like most humans and stuff, man, I guess, we hate about the world that which we see within ourselves. And I'm embarrassed, but I'll share with you, man. I used to get some pretty good weed, you know what I'm saying? It was pretty good weed. All right. But I used to get these little flavor droplets of tobacco flavoring. And I would just like ever so lightly just glance certain little leaves in the bud and give it texture, make it look nice. And it would flavor it too. And it took some good weed.
I don't
You
like
know,
where
I'm
the
gonna.
story's
I
going.
I never did
Berg
this.
was not a party to this.
I remember when this happened.
Oh, this.
Back in the
Oh,
day.
bro, this was in the '90s, bro. This.
No, I'm
this
saying I
was-
remember when this happened. The strawberry cushion shit came out. I remember this
Everybody
shit.
was doing it. Everybody back in the day was
I
doing
remember this shit.
Right.
I
I
remember
wasn't alone in this shit.
it. No.
And look, I'm gonna quote.
I'm just saying.
What I'm gonna say about this, about those drops, is exactly what these booth pushers say about fucking their different fucking remediation processes. You could take some pretty good fucking weed and turn it into some fantastic weed. You know, if as long as the person that was buying it believed. If they believed that they were getting some fire, man, they would call me the next day like, oh my God, bro, that shit was stupid. I need some more. And it's dishonest, for one. It's shitty as hell, you know, and it's playing on people's fucking emotions and innocence, naivety, whatever, however you say that. And it's bad. I'm ashamed that I did that. I apologize to y'all out there who was fucking with me back then.
Yeah.
So when this guy comes into this fucking shit today and talks about, oh, you know, I got some shit from DGE, I'm about to turn the fuck up, bro. Because they are like the motherfucking biggest repack bastards. Like, I grew out of that shit. I realized that I like did that for like maybe 3 months of my life, and I couldn't sleep at night. It was fucking with me.
Their weed with like fruit shit. Is that what you said?
I'm saying the way
That fruit
DGE
cocktail.
operates. Look, let me look in the way DGE operates. It wouldn't surprise me if they did that and worse to the fucking weed. In fact, if you've ever seen one of their facilities where they weren't trying to act like they were squeaky clean, just on a normal day with fucking garbage up to the fucking motherfucker's mid leg while they're sitting in the room, it's disgusting, bro. It's fucking disgusting. Those fucking, to be on a list, on the same fucking LAR list for the same fucking bullshit contaminants in your shit regularly, just shows that you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck about the people. You don't give a fuck about the product that you're charging people hard-earned money for. You pieces of shit. I don't give a fuck. Stop smoking that shit. It's not good for you. Who made that comment? Who's smoking DGE in here?
Prop one.
Prop one, you're a giveaway winner. You just won a fucking shirt and some real fucking shit from some real motherfuckers. I'm not just gonna talk bad about you, bro. We're gonna help you out. You just won some shit. Hit the DMs.
Boom.
We're gonna break that habit for you, bro.
Dang.
All right. You know, it's like red pill, blue pill. We're talking about the green pill, baby. Gotcha. Step out of that DGE matrix bullshit. And the man's like, you know, I know this isn't a real state, but when you're in the matrix, you don't even care. He just starts chowing down. That's how people smoking DGE are. They know it's not real weed.
So they are licensed in the commercial system now, and they've had their stuff recalled more than once. Is that what you were suggesting?
I'm not suggesting. I'm letting you know.
That's what it is. Okay.
They were like the video that was like released back, right? Back in
Oh, with all the shitty extracts everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I remember.
I don't know why we're just going off on DGE, but they're not from Detroit. They don't grow and they don't extract. Everything is a fucking lie.
Hey, somebody else in the comments saying I smoke DGE too.
Oh man.
Wow.
Shit. Yeah, we got Drewinski up in here, E-Bones up in here, Georgie is up in here. Damn.
That's what's up, man.
Mick G, I think whoever that is just saying they smoke DGE to get some free shit.
I'm saying. I peeped it. He tried. Slid it in there for sure. Got to.
That's pretty bad, though, if you're gonna say that.
Oh man.
Fuck. Well, that's what happens in this industry, man. When you create a bad reputation for yourself, you can't just easily spend a couple of bucks on an advertising campaign, have this shit go away. We remember always. When you slam caregivers, we fucking remember. We don't forget that shit.
All the midnight runs, all the cushy punches, all the DGEs of the world. I remember you. Have you guys seen this Common Citizenry? Are you familiar with these guys?
They got a place open in Flint, yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't even know how to explain this situation, man. I don't know if we can put it up on the screen or not. But there's a photograph from their facility taken by them where in the middle of the room is a dry rotted plant, like clear as can be. You know, I don't know about y'all, anytime I've gone into a grow, I always feel like magical and I'm just like taking in all the green and like absorbing it. It's like, a beautiful sight. And if you've ever tended to any fucking thing in your fucking goddamn life, you become familiar with the little nuances, and the second that something's different, you notice that. So how did a gardener not notice a fucking 4-foot plant start to wilt and then lean over and sag and then turn fucking yellow and rot? Like, how long was that neglected? What type of care is being given to that garden? To the point to where a photographer went in there and took a picture and then posted it on the internet.
I think
for me to see to talk shit about to you guys right now.
I think a photographer took a picture and he didn't even notice it because he's a photographer and he's getting paid to take pictures, because they had all kinds of pictures of their grows. You know what I'm saying? And then once that was put up and it was screenshotted and reposted and all that shit, fucking, they took all their different grow pictures down. And I wonder what else was in there. You know what I mean? So
you don't even have to be passionate about cannabis. You just need to be like, you could be passionate about a fucking arugula and look at this garden and be like, hey, what the fuck? There's something wrong right here. Just it boggles me. It just shows like a chain of bullshit. Like, nobody cared. There's like so many levels at which that should have been caught before it even made it to the internet, moving backwards. And it made it out there. It made it into my DMs. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's all bad. That's all bad.
We remember those people that make the big mistakes, man. It's hard to forget.
Well, and more than that, man, I remember how they react to it.
Yeah.
We've had sponsors that have had some iffy, questionable testing. And, their response was taking responsibility and rectifying the situation. And then, showing tests where the shit was good before and after. So, To me, it's what you do after. It's how you respond to situations, because life is life, and we're only human. Everybody's human. Pimps fuck up too. It's how you respond.
Dun dun dun.
That's all I'm saying, man. Like, if you ask somebody, are they from Canada, and they can't answer, like, are they going to be serious with you about medicine and the process it goes through before it makes it to you or makes it to a show? I don't think so. That's just a dishonest motherfucker to begin with. They're not even proud to be Canadian. The fuck?
I mean, what's your opinion on remediated weed, Rick?
I understand why the marijuana regulatory agency made the rules seriously based on the amount of weed that could potentially be lost if you fail testing. That could sink a company. My feeling, though, is that you should be informed as a consumer if your cannabis has undergone any kind of remediation. I think if it's important for us to know the THC content, if it's important for us to know that pregnant women might be affected, blah, 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 if it's important for us to have all those other warnings on there, but yet it's not important for us to know that at one point this cannabis was not safe for human consumption, then I think that's a backward system. So I understand why they allow remediation. And if it passed testing afterwards, that's the system saying it's good to go. But I still want to know. I think that's only fair.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's crazy. I mean, are they actually like using the test results, or are they mixing it up? You know what I mean? Like the THC content is totally changed once it goes through the fucking ozone machine, doesn't it?
Not
Stay the
from
same.
that. I haven't heard that, but I'm not saying it's not, but I've never heard that before. I've had some cannabis that's been through that process.
But we retest cannabis after every time it's changed, right? When it goes from just cannabis into a concentrate, we test it. And when it goes from cannabis into a medical, we test it. So why wouldn't we test it both before and then after remediation? So, I mean,
And
Well, it is. I'm just not sure if it affects the THC. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Iron Labs last year that got busted for having like weed unlabeled and just bins and shoddy testing that came back with false positives or some bullshit. So it's like
They
we're
had a
relying,
big fine, like $100,000 fine or something.
yeah, we're relying so much on these tests and like that being the ultimate cure all in it, and it's not, because these labs are faulty too, man. And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to just throw dirt on Iron Labs. I'm suspicious of every fucking lab.
Well, they do have a third party that is supposed to, make sure that they're running things properly and they're calibrated properly and their standards are in line and all that, whatever goes into it. That's part of their qualifications to get like an ISO certification or something like that. But I think the root problem here is that the standards are too high by the state for testing. This is microbial stuff that it doesn't meet, but that's like, there's levels of that shit way higher than what's acceptable for the market that we've been smoking our whole lives. It's fine. It's great cannabis. A lot of great cannabis has been refused, especially when the caregivers were able to contribute more. The flower is still being contributed by caregivers until like September 30th.
Yeah.
So there's a problem right there. That would solve it more than anything.
mm-hmm.
Well, I know what you mean. Like, we've probably smoked cannabis throughout our lives that would have failed some testing. You know what I'm saying? But was it failing because it just was like, being grown by some like, like some gang of people, some outlaw criminals trying to, like the cartels or something? Or why is it failing? You know what I'm saying?
There's so many technical things that you could do wrong just in a minor way in Michigan's system to fail a test. When someone fails a test, it doesn't mean that they used pesticides. It doesn't mean that it had microbes growing all over it. There's so many little things that you can do to fail a test.
Like I know a lot of certain nutrients will cause failures.
Yep. If you have someone that forgets to wear a hat, forgets to wear their hairnet, and you get some
heavy metal concentration behind that's left in the plant.
Contamination. Yep. So, I mean, Michigan's standard is higher than most other states. Jamie's point is well taken that we could right size our testing priorities. It was laid down at a time when the legislature was trying to make it as difficult as possible. They wanted to create a big, huge testing industry so those guys could make billions of dollars. So they created testing requirements that involved every single possible test known to man, it seemed. So they created too big a program at that time because they were trying to be greedy, and now we all pay the price.
Some states have some really weird, complex, expensive testing required. You know, it's new for a lot of people who are allowing it, and they try to feel like they're being safer by this extensive stuff and high standards. But
you know, and that's not really, you know, who I have a problem with isn't like the guy who forgot to wear his hat. You know, he's trying to be compliant, and like, you know, he missed a day, or, you know, he wasn't familiar with everything. He's just getting started. Those aren't the people I have a problem with. It's like where it's like a chain of neglect happening, where it's like some shit that's coming from California or Washington, Colorado, any of these other states where it's failing in their market and it's not viable. So it gets shipped here to Michigan. People get it at a real good price, and then they sell it as if it's top of the line cannabis that's medicine, and it's not. It's already been proven in like other states that it's not medicine.
I don't know if any cannabis is coming in from other states that's being retailed through the MMFLA. It's against the law. They can't do that.
Yeah, but that's probably happened though. But
well, we think so, for sure.
Right. I mean, it should have been tested. There are times where it could have gotten in without being tested. Yeah. But if it was any time, you know, if there's goes back so far, and it would have, even if it was caregiver submission, it would have been tested.
Well, I can tell you, we
that
smoked a lot of
possible.
We smoked a lot of Cali weed in our lives here in Michigan. If you've been smoking as long as any of us have been smoking, you smoked a lot of Cali weed over your lifetime, no doubt.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not necessarily talking about the regulated market, you know. There's a lot of people that, you know, are doing like person to person sales, you know, still trying to operate under like some guise of the caregiver system, and you know, they're actually, you know, trying to help patients, you know, and then there's this, you know, these seedy little groups of people like DGE, and that's why I get fired up, man, because they like put a black eye on the game in the sense that they take a market that's based on trust. You know what I'm saying? You're trusting that you have a relationship with this grower and that they're not doing things to intentionally poison you or, you know, necessarily flip a profit off of their dealing with you. And they come in and, you know, they are trying to flip profits, and they don't care about what they're offering to the patients. And then it's like, well, what do we do about that? And then we have to make a law about that. And then making that law, you make it harder for the people that are actually trying to help. That, you know, created that platform to begin with. I don't know. I'm pissed off about it.
Well, I don't know what will happen when they go to renew their license, but if they are licensed now and then have had like a couple of recalls, and that was extrapolated back to not, you know, properly handling the product before bringing it to market or what have you. I don't know if it's happened a couple times or some issue there.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, so maybe they don't get licensed again unless they fix it.
I'm not really sure of what their legal standing is as a company. You know, they might be strictly black market.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought that they transitioned
I
into the
know,
licensed world.
before when the rules were more lax, I know that they were in dispensaries, but I don't know. I really haven't been in dispensaries lately to know if they're there or not.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. What's DGE stand for?
Detroit Grower Extracts.
Is it's like it's so like an oxymoron.
Because
Okay.
they're not from Detroit, they're not growers, and they're not extractors.
Right.
Yeah.
Roach
like
said that. Yeah.
Detroit growers tracks. So it's like it's such an oxymoron.
The
Like,
3 lies. It's a 3-line name.
Damn. That's all bad.
not one, not two, but three.
I know.
And everybody
And, like-
hit like Berg and Roach up when their video went like a bunch of views on Instagram. Because I don't know, why, and people from like California and Colorado, they're all thinking you must have known him, so, or hung with him, because we're Medical Mondays. So
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's
just
tough.
doing the show and going to events, we meet a lot of people, and we try to be amicable with them, and have some type of fucking friendship. But sometimes there comes a time when there's somebody that we've met that was kind of like on the border, and then we find out like they really are on some bullshit, and we gotta not be friends anymore. Sometimes it happens.
Better than pretending to be friends with someone and having a plastic relationship when you know everything that comes out of their mouth is just a stream of bullshit. That's tough to endure, and it's not fair to your listeners when you misrepresent your real feelings and when you misrepresent bad people to the community. So I'm glad I don't know anything about DGE, but I'm glad you feel like you got to do that, man.
Yeah, I mean, Laura's not, in the unregulated market.
Right. And there's nobody that, controls that. They do whatever you want to patients, man. And if you're, the cheapest game in town, people come back over and over and over, no matter how shitty you treat them.
Yeah, no, I mean, like all snakes, they may move. They may move like other companies and be generous with their product. But like if somebody gives you poison for free as opposed to poison you paid for, does it make it any better?
Slightly.
I'm dying, but at least I didn't pay for it.
Oh, no. No.
That's what you're referring to, Jamie? That's the better. That's the positive outlook on expiring as you get.
This show is somewhat satirical in nature, so I could be wrong about this, but I did get a DM alleging that DGE was buying weed and edibles from China.
From China? China?
Yep.
Wow.
What the fuck?
From Wuhan, maybe? Just guessing from Wuhan, China,
Just word on the street. You might not check out.
Damn.
From the wet market.
Damn.
They were
Alibaba.
getting edibles from the wet market in Wuhan.
Mm-hmm. Laced with fentanyl, right? Yeah. Forgot to add that. Right.
Is that from the wet market?
flying off. Ah, man.
Out the wet market.
You got some broad connections that DM you, man. Some international motherfuckers. You got to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Now we had our boy from South Africa a couple weeks ago. And he was just telling us how it is over there. You know.
What is going on over there?
Yeah, well, we had South Africa, Great Britain, and
420?
Australia.
Yeah, that was great, man. That was great.
For sure, man.
Yeah,
Not
so-
not China.
I don't know, man. I need to make some friends in different countries, man. Like, I want to know what's going on. Like, for real, for real.
See where that good weed is out there in different countries.
Like, I want to say it's like Uruguay, where it's like completely legal. Like, you can buy weed at a pharmacy.
Probably, I think
Or
Uruguay.
Venezuela. One of those South American countries.
So $1 a
Like,
gram or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I think the guy on the 420 show from UK was saying that cannabis wasn't very good where he was.
I don't think his shit's getting flushed proper from his conversation and what he was saying. Like, man, I'm sad to say, like, I think they just they don't know how to do it properly, and it's not getting flushed. They're rushing it to market.
We've had so much experience in America with home grow, and the way that we communicate now it's wicked. Our average growers are at such a high level right now, and our expert growers are just boom. Other nations, you know, they dream of being where we're at. Just like other states, like Indiana, dream of being where Michigan's at. We complain about our system, and rightly so. Other states got nothing. They drive hundreds of miles to get to our shit. So we still got something going on.
Definitely. But no, like, I think, you know, like you said, the way we communicate has a lot to do with it now. You know, before, like, you know, how do you just start a conversation with a stranger about cannabis and then trust them? But for some reason on Instagram and Facebook, people, you know, have built relationships and shared knowledge where, like, you know, I don't know, I feel it's like people that shouldn't know each other now.
Cannabis is the great connector. Brings a lot of us together on paths that normally would never have intersected. I've been to a lot of events, man, where people who know how to cultivate, rookies, they find out that you know a little bit of something about something, and the first thing they want to do is just like ask a million questions. And I watch guys time and time again stand there and answer a million questions because they just want to help out, man. They want to share that knowledge that they've got. They want to be social. Half the time they spark up while they're having that conversation, and our people are really interested in sharing what they know. It's not competitive like some other people are, not, at least usually not, amongst the real motherfuckers that are doing
it. Yeah, no, I feel like, you know, even people that have beefs, you know, in the community, when it comes down to it, like, you know, they would probably both help the same people. They don't really give a fuck. So I don't know. Cannabis it makes everything different. It's not the same as other businesses. It's not the same as other communities. It's not the same as other medicines. I don't know.
So let's ask a question. After the virus, man, if you guys are standing in a circle and somebody pulls out their own joint and doesn't want to pass, just wants to smoke his own, you cool with that, right? Or are we giving that guy a hassle?
You better have a joint for me, motherfucker.
It's like it becomes the gum rule now. You have to have it. You have to have it for you have to have something for everybody.
Oh, I see.
Nah.
You have
I
to
feel, I
leave
feel
a
like
house
if,
with like
In a
5.
group of 10, you better have 10 joints.
I ain't coming.
That's good. Be a lot of non-social events happening at that point. Yes.
right now I feel like if I think you've had COVID and you survived, we can smoke.
Basically, that's how I feel. I feel like
I don't really want to smoke with people that are scared of COVID and think they're gonna catch it or they haven't caught it yet. You know, for their own safety.
for sure.
What about the safety of their family?
For sure.
No, I mean it extends, man. Anybody see, because like here's the thing about cannabis, bro. Anybody that I would smoke with like that, I care about like your whole fucking crew.
Huh.
So have you guys been smoking with anybody besides yourselves lately? Jamie, Rick?
I've been in isolation. I haven't had another cannabis smoker around me for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I pick up from my caregiver. She stays in her car. I stay in my car. She pops the trunk. I grab my stuff. I close the trunk. I leave. It's all good.
fucking throw it at you.
No.
Since
I would be
the
okay with that. People throwing weed at me. Just to let you know, if you're in public and you decide to just get rid of something,
yeah.
throw it right at me.
yeah, that works.
Oh, man.
Me is
Since the night with Darren McCarty's doing this appearance at Botanical Company in East Taos, then later on the Slapstick Comedy Tour at the hotel, the Bay Beach Resort. Later on that night, we did smoke joints with lots of people that night.
oh,
That was the last time. That was like March 15th-ish or 14th or something like that.
Yeah,
That was 2
mid-March.
months ago. That's.
Yep.
I feel like when I last did it too.
Yeah.
That weekend.
Now I've been to the grocery store sometimes. I've been to the gas station to fill up, my lawnmower tank. I've done a bunch of different stuff, but I've not smoked with anyone else. Not even to be in the same room and burn with them. Just haven't been around anybody. So when I do, probably be rocking my own doobie. It's probably what's going to happen.
I mean that more often than not, like I've been around other smokers, but everybody just smokes their own.
You know, we've talked about this a lot on Jazz Cabbage. There's just in this day and age, there's like cannabis is so readily available that everybody should just select what they want to smoke and smoke their own. Still do it together. There's something that is like just out of communal about it, but all social about it. But it's also, I think it was born out of a need when there wasn't as much around. You try to conserve it too, and and that kind of stuff. I just don't really have to anymore.
I mean, I'll smoke my own unless a hot chick wants a hit, and then that's probably going to happen.
Not likely.
Look at Berg. Oh, Colin, not likely. That's mean. Oh, so harsh, dude. Now I know why you're seeing murder. You kill me, bud. Oh.
Yeah.
Set it up. Berg was waiting for me to do it.
Yeah.
they murdered him, kissing him. Don't be kissing him.
No. Well, there's gonna be some things that change, man. Some stuff that'll be different when we go back. They're talking about trying to launch the baseball season, and lots of stuff will be different, and certain people have to wear masks throughout the whole thing and stuff. So, they're trying to make do, trying to adjust to normal. It's not going to be one little flick of the switch. It's going to be a bunch of steps to get there.
Has anybody been watching sports that have come back? Like I know NASCAR came back, UFC came back.
It's so weird to see that shit with nobody's there.
No audience.
I have been watching wrestling though. I watched a couple episodes of it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like they're doing all this shit and like there's no crowd reaction. It's
Crazy.
weird.
Been watching reruns of famous sports games, Detroit Tiger World Series games, and a couple of Detroit Lions good games. I know it was tough for them to search and find it, so they dug a couple of them up. But
You need to watch a bad
Where you find those at?
I'm not finding them. I'm on the guide going, holy shit, a game we won? I'll watch that. Fuck, it's been years.
Hey, Eric Hipple was on Planet Green Trees a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
They won a few games back then.
Wiggle Hips Hipple. Yeah. That was
Has anybody seen the Last Dance on ESPN? It's about the last season,
Bulls?
championship season with Michael Jordan and the Bulls.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I just heard about it a few times.
Yeah, I heard about it.
We'll have to soon.
Well, I was like, they go year by year from, his beginning to the 98 season. So I want to watch, well, I watched it up until they got to the 89-90 seasons. Where Detroit
bad boys, what you gonna do?
And yeah, it was pretty interesting. They were all pretty candid. They got like everybody that played to interview. And Sally was talking about how it was just like fuck Jordan. Like if he comes to the hole, we got to put him on the ground. And that's what Jordan said too. Like they beat the hell out of me.
Jordan rules.
Yeah. He's like, they made that shit personal. To this day, I can't stand some of those motherfuckers. Like Jordan was
even Jordan himself said like he would have never reached the peak that he reached without going through the bad boys first. Like we made him what he is.
There's a lot of people had questions about his toughness. And it was by playing through Detroit and playing through hurt and playing 4 quarters of elbows and knees and unnecessarily hitting the hardwood, that made him tougher. And it certainly helped him later in his career.
Yeah, no, like on the show, Rodman said one of the reasons he was able to go to Chicago was because he respected Jordan from how he took all the hits when he was on the Pistons and they were beating the fuck out of him. He knew that, it was somebody he was going to be able to play with and be successful.
I remember when Jordan was jumping from the top of the key in order to make a slam. I mean, and no one else at that time could do it. Nobody, even with longer legs, could do it. And he would run and jump from way the hell back over there. And I remember, was it Lambier or somebody just pushing him? Clear foul, just pushing him in the middle of his jump, and he ended up all They didn't
like
a foul.
It was like a balancing act he would do, and they would just like touch him and fucking it would throw him all the way off. They shut down all that fancy shit was done. It was bad boys.
I was so pissed when they drafted Rick Mahorn to the Timberwolves in the expansion draft. I was so disappointed.
Yeah, they broke up the Pistons the same way they broke up the Bulls.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was management wanted to make money. They wanted new blood, and they didn't want to deal with these motherfuckers. So they just made it impossible for them to stay.
Should have threw him Scott Hastings.
He could shoot the 3 ball though. Scott Hastings could. If you were a shorter white guy, you have to be able to shoot the 3 ball because that's your only purpose.
No, I remember one time
Paxson won the game. Steve Kerr won the game.
Jordan, did you see that? Do you remember that, Roach? When Scott Hastings stole the ball from Jordan, those are shit.
I mean, he was getting beat up, man.
Yeah, he was already beat up, but that was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, the short, underrated white guy on the team won the championship for the Bulls twice. That's a good formula.
Yeah. Well, you don't earn your spot there. We say short, underrated, but still, wow, what a great basketball player, right? You can't, step in the shower naked with Michael Jordan unless you really are a good basketball player. You know what I'm saying? So, so it's just my thing.
No homo.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to step in the shower with him.
No.
No. So my point being that
I mean, Jordan don't want to
You
step
earned
in the
it.
shower with me.
Drop the soap. Yeah.
all right, Roach, yes. Jordan's like, here's the championship trophy, Roach. You got me beat, buddy. Yeah. But
Yeah, no, man. It's a good show, man. You guys should check it out. Last Dance,
yep. You know, I met
episode 2.
John Sally. He was on the steps of the Hash Bash. And
Diag.
yep, the Diag, yep. And he took a picture. We got a selfie. So here's me and John Sally. He puts his arm around me and he takes the camera from my hand. And he holds it way the fuck up here. And then he takes the selfie. So his face is like huge. And I'm this little teeny dude way down here.
Yeah.
It's the best selfie ever, man.
He's Sonny Boy.
just awesome. He's a
But
big
you know
smile.
what? John Sally and Ganja Granny share the same birthday. And it happened this past Saturday. So big shout out to John Sally and Ganja Granny.
Nice.
Boom. Hell yeah.
Birthday, y'all.
Hey.
Interesting little fact there.
John Sally was nothing but smiles all the time. I mean, he was just a great guy to be around. He was happy. He greeted a lot of people, shook hands, and a bunch of stuff. It's nice to see someone who really gets it. How, you know, you're just a regular guy. You got all the celebrity and all this money and everything else too, but you're still out there on the steps having a good time like everybody else.
Hey, Roach, I got a question for you. So, should I let Georgie be in here for a minute or what?
Oh man, I'm still mad at Georgie B.
No, yeah,
He was
Well-
turning the torch on.
I know.
While people,
Let him in. Should we tell him why and then kick him out or what?
all right, we'll let him in, man. You know,
All right, Georgie,
maybe he
motherfucker.
wants to apologize. Maybe he wants to apologize.
All right.
Either way, man.
Hey, Georgie, you there? Hey, Georgie, you there?
Oh boy.
Whatever, man. What were we talking about?
John Sally.
Oh, yeah. Spider-Man Sally.
He looked high as hell on The Last Dance, by the way.
Oh, on the interview? He probably was. Where did Sally go after Pistons? LA?
He won another championship or two with Portland, didn't he? Was he with the Trailblazers?
No, he went to Chicago.
It was LA.
Okay.
I don't know.
John Sally played in Chicago.
Yeah, he did. But then he went to LA too. He got several rings.
Yeah.
Good for John Sally.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what they talk about a good player to have in the locker room, somebody who's, you know, a calming influence on some of the hothead guys who maybe let stuff get to them or maybe have just too much ego. John Sally was one of those guys that they said they liked him in the locker room for his calm leadership. So
All right,
like
Georgie.
Georgie gives us calm leadership too, right?
Yeah,
You gotta tap on the screen and turn on the video and the audio.
yeah. Turn it sideways, man. You're gonna do a dab? Can you hear us, motherfucker? Oh my God, Georgie.
There he goes. Was he putting his lips over the end of that?
That is like an evil genius forehead, man. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
definitely a
Shout
Star
out
Trek
Ebon.
criminal.
Hey, Georgie. We can't hear you. All right, man. Here, let me see.
You got to hit the microphone. The microphone. There you go.
Uh-oh.
Maybe not.
He has very smooth hands. Just saying.
I didn't know that, Rick.
Palm olive.
No.
All that lotion.
All right. Apparently, Dolly the llama is evaluating us all based on our appearance in the chat here.
I gotta check that out. That's on the YouTube chat, eh?
Yeah, it says the pot leaf guy is cool. I'm gonna assume that's you, Rick.
Yeah.
All right, I'm cool. Dude with the beard always looks asleep.
Yeah.
That's Bird.
I love it.
That's him.
Keep going, Dolly. Tell us what the rest of us look like. That's great.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
What did he say about me?
I don't know. He usually comes in here and like insults
Probably,
people.
probably said fuck Bird.
Dude with the beard always looks asleep. Step in the shower. Wow, that's getting personal, Berg.
But like 3 people have beards. 4 people have beards.
Can we hear Georgia?
No, George doesn't know what he's doing, man. This
I sort of hear a bubble.
You don't know what he's doing over there, man. What's going on? You about to fire that torch up.
Yeah, bring it closer. That helps.
Says connect.
just
Oh.
smoke weed, Georgie. Just smoke the weed, man. You're good.
You had it on for a minute. It's gone now.
Oh man.
There he is,
Yeah.
Georgie.
Yeah. I'll try to make sure I turn off the volume if I need my torch.
All right, that's what's up.
How y'all doing?
We're doing, man. We're just out here smoking good.
It sort of looks like a spacesuit you're wearing, Georgie. Actually, it looks a little bit like a.
Oh no, no songs.
I want to say this banana joint is stupid fire.
Got a banana joint? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I'll make some turf farm. Nice.
Michigan motherfucking turf farms. Fire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a hoodie. It's just a hoodie. Oh, I got a hoodie on a hoodie. I got a black hoodie and a white hoodie.
Ah, there you go.
Nice jar. You know it. I got some Zookies and some forbidden fruit.
Yeah. See? Happy holidays, right? Woo! All right. We're all showing our shit. That's what I'm rocking. Coffee cup that's 4 months out of date.
I kind of
And
have.
the homie Jelly Buds is in the chat. What up, dope?
Oh,
Good.
shit. What up, though? What are you smoking on? What is everybody in the chat smoking on?
What are
No,
you smoking on?
you're 710, right?
I guess I need to roll something else up. No, I got it.
I don't know. Oh, there we go. A friend of mine made this. Those are real potteries that are glazed into the cup. They're actually made into the ceramic before she made it.
That's cool.
Damn, did we lose Jamie?
Nah, he'll be back probably, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask him what was the terp that changed his life? He wasn't there earlier when we were talking about all that.
What was the terp that changed your life?
Yeah. Yeah, you're old school, man. Remember, we were talking about apple weed
Blueberry.
and how, like, you know, with all the different flavors in the cannabis nowadays, I've still yet to taste some shit that compares to that apple weed in flavor, at least. You know what I'm saying?
Back in the day, we used to get something called super sativa. I've never really seen it lately.
Well, what did it taste like?
What did it taste like? What did it taste
Tastes
like?
apples or what?
Yeah, what did it taste like?
Like, oh, super sativa? It
Yeah.
tasted like mint and skunk. It was different. And it got you really high. Like, I thought I was, like, sometimes I was damn near hallucinating and I didn't want to even drive. I don't know what it was. It was hydroponics for sure back in the day, 89-ish.
Hey, nah.
My buddy's dad's friend grew it. What up, Scoop?
What up?
Might go try to get down on the Detroit River later this week if it warms up a little. Go after eat some white bass and some more walleye.
Mm-hmm.
I've been just kind of kicking it at home the last few days. I'm getting my basement cleaned up. Got to finally start to grow, man.
Yeah, man, take advantage of your rights, man. Dudes like Rick and Jamie out here kicking ass. You better take advantage of that shit.
Okay. No, I got some plans. What are those new lights? I think they're from Detroit. Laura Lux or Laura Flux or I know Dave's been pumping them and Don. The blades, they're LEDs, I think, with 8 blades and 6 blades. They're
Yeah,
making Detroit.
you're about to get that shit?
I'm thinking about buying a couple of them. Maybe a couple
Probably.
thousand watts. I don't know yet. I got a guy coming to do some work on my first I gotta get some water stuff in my basement sink done. And the same dude's gonna send his electricians to take a look, see what I need to amp up. I gotta measure out my room. I got it pretty much emptied, so I gotta build it out a little bit. I probably could do about a 15-foot long, about
Prop one. Wait.
12-foot wide
Hey,
room.
Prop one says Shermalato from DGE is what I'm smoking. And
How much of that shit do you have left? How much do you have left? Hold on, man. Prop one said he sent me a DM. If I send you a link, will you come on here, Prop one? I got some questions for you. Please respond in the chat. Let me see.
A rare opportunity. You don't normally invite chat people to join us with video. Roach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, this is the future. This is quarantine, so let's take advantage of it if we can.
This is better than just calling in. Yeah, some people might not want to be on video though.
Yeah.
Wear a mask.
A mask.
Put
That
a
a
strong mask on.
Prop?
Come on. Then they'll get
Let's see.
the down.
You don't
At
need a mask for Zoom.
Prop one is like, all I got is like a gram maybe left. You could have been like, man, I got like a half ounce or some shit. we would have had to replace it. But
I got another
got a
trim run now.
second, just play.
All right, he says he's shy as hell. All right, man. Whatever. I just wanted you to show it on the camera. I wanted you to show people what I'm talking about.
Marijuana
I
and
picked up some trim I had sent out to be processed. Just another run of shatter, most likely. Did pretty well with the last two.
Yeah, I would have been willing to trade you.
That sounds nice. Sherbalato, is that what it's called?
Yeah. Yeah, he wants to call in. He doesn't want to be on video.
Georgie wants some of that.
You said with a mask on, you might.
Yeah, just on, bro. Put your N95 boy on and just hop on the chat real quick.
I'm saying.
Who? Who you talking to, Roach?
I don't know, man. It's cool, bro. It's cool. E-Bone's telling Georgie, but it's DGE though.
I know. Georgie's still like, man, don't try anything once.
Man.
That used to be me, not so much anymore, bro.
All right, here comes Jamie, man.
What?
He came back with a hooter.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
And a big joint.
There he is. How you
All right,
doing,
so hey, Jamie, I got a question for you. You know, being the seasoned connoisseur smoker that you are, sure you've come across a lot of different strains in your day, but which one just blew you away? Like the terps were just like, you never thought you would taste that in a joint.
There are a few early on. I was, exposed to some really good cannabis within a short period of time. Kind of, we got things up and running in Ypsilanti, and I remember some Bubba Kush that came on early that still kind of stands out in my mind. But as far as what you're saying, the overall package, the essence, and just how pleasant it was, and all that kind of stuff. There was some Death Star that came in, and that was the first time that I went, "Wow, this shit hits all the buttons for me."
Well, like, for me, I've had some weed that it tasted like meatloaf with like onion gravy, like specifically. And like, I never thought, like, I knew you could hit fruity notes with cannabis, but like, it seems like just recently, or mostly recently, they've just been, these breeders have been able to like pull these crazy combinations out of the plant that I would have never thought, like, the gelatos and the wedding cake where it's like milky and like a creamy, rich taste to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought I was gonna taste some shit like that.
It's amazing, man. Never stop being impressed by this plant. It's been years, and just there's always something else that comes by that is impressive.
Like, I don't know if you've ever had some of these, like, for lack of a classification, like these soda cannabises where it's like Red Pop or Sprite, Dirty Sprite, and when you smoke it, you get the little fizzies in your nose. Like, that shit is fucking amazing, bro. Whoever worked on that, man, that shit is.
Speaking of that, and what do you guys think about? I know some of you have some more of a connection and understanding of this, but if there were on top of what's allowed now for I guess mainly for commercial reasons, but could be for any reason. Would it be a nice addition to the lineup of commercial licensing that's available now? If somebody could get like a breeding license, so there could be several thousands of plants to properly, take take a cross through its proper process or whatever it is. I mean, I'm not an expert on any of that kind of stuff, but seems like that element is missing. You get right to the point of some of these, ability to like really go through many of them and come up with the combinations and exactly like in the way that they're being sought after. Just because you have the ability to have enough volume of being able to do that.
Well,
I had a
if I'm
conversation
not
with somebody recently, and he brought it up. So I just wonder what you guys thought about that.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that breeders as well as growers are able to submit their strain as well as their SOPs and get a copyright on their seeds and their plant, their product in Michigan.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, like a breeder can't have like the luxury of the several thousands of plants. Anyway, just based off a discussion that I had with somebody recently who likes to do this stuff, used to kind of do some work with the Subcool years ago. Who's saying that there's volume of plants needed to really properly create these different strains and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah, no, to like come up with I'm not a breeder or a grower or anything like that, but I went and listened to this one smart guy talk one time, and he knew what he was talking about. And he said that not only do you need like the hundreds of plants to start out, but you have to run those plants through generations before you can find like the stable genetics. And then once you identify them and isolate them, then that's still a whole other process. So, you can be years into it to get like some real good shit. I'm weary of a lot of pop-up breeders, you know, just because how could you have invested the time to have like, all of this amazing stuff if it takes so long?
possibly the quantities of plants necessary.
Yeah.
Feel comfortable about it. Do it in a totally like above ground way, so you can totally make sure all the processes are accounted for. You don't have to like hide stuff or whatever it is with that kind of. It's needed, the ability for somebody to create these things.
I know that there's like some growers out there. Shout out Michigan Turp Farms, who are like invested in cultivating and finding that specific pheno and breeding it to its fucking maximum capacity. And that's a big part of it too. But just because your room burned down and like you've got seeds doesn't make you a breeder, which I think sometimes you see that in the market.
I mean, you can create something but by putting plants together or whatever, but that's not the same as going through the whole process of.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that that's going to be stable or that it's going to be, this reliable. It's a whole lot more to it.
Genetics are an amazing thing. When you start talking to somebody like DJ Short, and he starts talking about the different families that you have to walk back in order to find one that, like you said, is a stable genetics. That is a science. You don't have to have a degree in order to still understand and practice that science. There's a lot of amazing people we have in our community. When you can create a strain of cannabis and express the specific effects to create a meatloaf taste, come on. That's like Dr. Evil stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, for me, it's that that little fizz in your nose, where it's like
Yeah.
that shit is amazing to me. That dirty Sprite is crazy.
Yeah.
That
For
red
sure.
pop is unique as fuck too.
Yeah, that was.
And then another one was that stank breath that Honeybee Extractions had, where it
Oh,
was
yeah.
that different pheno. It was more OGKB.
Yeah.
Then you had some shit that was like cinnamon, like you hit it like
Yeah, it was like
cinnamon.
cream soda. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, like you hit it and it's like fire, like hot soda. It's crazy.
Yep.
I know the smell and the taste of this forbidden fruit I have right now is just so overpowering. Excellent.
And who is that from?
It's from Detroit Diesel OG. I caught up with him this week
Mm.
for the first time in a couple weeks. We've been on downtime. He's been doing solo working with the COVID shit going on. He said maybe we can come back to work in a couple weeks, hopefully. So
I mean, shout out to him. I ended up getting a chance to try some of their flour over there,
which ones?
and it was impressive, man. It was Sunday Driver,
Yeah, I definitely
Lemon
like
Head.
that. Lemonhead's nice too. It's pretty.
Man, there was one. It was like orange. It was like grape and orange, but it was still good as fuck.
Did you get to try the Zookies or the Kush Cake?
No,
Those are newer, but those are
that.
really nice.
This was a while ago.
This Northern Light number 5 is really nice.
No, it wasn't that either.
the
This was some
Chili
purple shit. It was
Yeah, he's
purple.
got 14 at 16. Oh, purple then? I know the Sunday Driver, what I got right now is kind of purple. It's the Forbidden Fruit. It's so sour and pungent and smelly and stanky. My wife, I walked in the door. She's like, take that outside. It was in my pocket. I wasn't even smoking. I just drove home with it.
You know,
I took it out of my
I
trunk.
also got some wedding cake from him, and
Yeah.
it was like just how I like it. It was nice and creamy, but I was impressed with the size of the nugs, man. He had monsters.
The majority of his stuff
bro.
is pretty good sized buds. Yeah. The Zookies I just got are chunks. The I got Duptilla. If you get a chance, try that. It's got that back crust on a glue and some type of OG, but it's nice and strong. And then I got that.
Yeah, I wanted to get him on here and ask him how does he grow those nugs, if it was PGRs or not, because I hope not, but
we got prop 1 in here, man. I mean, we're going over time. Does it really matter to you, man? Because, all right.
Well, I know in the last couple months, he's been adding. He added 3 of the LEDs by
Oh shit!
Oh, look at that!
It's a big company. I forget what the name of it now, but they make Gavita. They're big LEDs. He added 3 of those at the end of the flower down the middle, and then he's got the 1,000 watts on each side, and it's just added a lot of spectrum to it. And things have changed in the last few months inside the garden. It's been in a better way. It's been looking better, a little more triked up, prettier. Some of them have just been bigger nodules and more filling out between the.
All right, man. Prop 1's up in this bitch.
Oh shit, hold up. Let me find it. There we go. All right, man, you gotta turn your video and your mic on. It's 2 things you gotta give permission.
All right, no, he's on here. Does he got his audio on, bro?
That's why I'm telling him it's 2 things. You there, man? Prop uno. Oh, wait a minute.
He's not gonna strangle himself and masturbate, right?
I hope not. Either way, man, we'll get to him. He'll figure it out in a second.
I recognize that water heater. I know who that is.
Oh
No,
shit!
just kidding.
I know that guy too,
We
man.
know who you are. Nah. But
Lennox model
guy-
M143C.
this is the guy. This is the guy with the DGE, right?
Yeah. All right, look, it's connecting to audio. There he goes. He got it. He got it. He's figuring it out.
Yep, so got to
Now
unmute.
tap the screen and hit the microphone. And you'll, yeah. Boom. He did it. What up, though?
All right. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what were you smoking on from DGE?
Super.
Blotto.
Blotto.
Sure,
I got-
Blotto.
Hold on. I got plenty more. Hold on.
Oh shit!
Wedding cake. And what are those? Are those Ace? That's a
Yeah,
3.5?
Yep.
I like how he's wearing a mask and he doesn't want people to know who he is,
I
but
don't blame him, bro. I don't blame him.
because he buys DGE.
Now,
I mean that's not all I buy. Trust me, that's not all I buy for sure.
okay, but let me just ask you this, man. What does the DGE go for? What are you paying for those 3.5s?
30. 240 a zip. I mean it's not that great of a price. I mean, I'd prefer to pay 2.
Right.
But I mean,
Now-
it is what it is. It's not
Can
the
you-
only thing I can get either.
Can you show some flour just as an example?
Yep. I don't know how well my front facing camera is.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's a Shure Lotto right there. That's it.
Well, man,
Here's some good shit though. Some Top Hat. I don't know if y'all heard of Top Hat.
no, I haven't heard of Top
What
Hat.
And they're not a sponsor. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
No, I'm not trying to sponsor anything. Just what I'm smoking on. That's some.
Yeah, man. Now, like, what do you think about that DGE personally? What keeps you buying it? Because you had a couple of jars. I mean, are you moving them, or is that
No,
personal?
it's all personal. It's all personal smoke. I just enjoy all the different flavors they have to offer.
Now, is that what it is? Like, you really enjoy the brand, or is it just that's what you have access to?
Yeah, availability has a lot to do with it. My caregiver's over in the Detroit area, and I'm here in Battle Creek, so you know I see my caregiver once a month. So on my downtime, you know, I know somebody local, so that's what I do.
See, man, we got to do something about that, man. You should find somebody there in Battle Creek with some fire. I know it's there.
I mean,
bro.
no doubt. I got definite plugs, but I mean, this is not my only go-to. I can't remember the last time I even got any from them. Probably it's been last week when I got the Shure Lotto from them.
Yeah.
But it's not, you know, I got the good plugs.
Now, do you eat their edibles?
I don't do edibles. Edibles don't do shit for me.
Ah, man, you need to fuck with Native Man, man. Change your whole
Hold on.
life.
Hold on.
I've tried.
I want to take this man's statement.
I'm
You're
in.
gonna make a statement, and then you're gonna get this giveaway, and you're gonna come back and talk.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the
You're
same
gonna
shit
talk
again
about how
and see how if you feel
crack
any
your
different.
head open.
Because I fuck with Ganja Queen. I fuck with Ganja Queen all the time. I know y'all smoke the Ganja Queen shit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I've tried her edibles too. I just, edibles really don't do it for me. I'd rather smoke the flower.
Have you tried Native Made?
Give his
Have
ass
not.
one of them brownies.
I think he's scared, man. He don't even. He's like, oh no, I've heard about Native Made. Yeah.
He's scared. He's scared.
See,
All right,
Even-
man. Well,
people in the fucking chat are talking. They're like, man, the brownies will knock you on the floor. Yeah.
I mean,
man.
the best I've had from edibles is maybe give me a weight lifted off my shoulders, a warm feeling.
There you go, man. You need that shit. Why not?
Yeah, but it's not nothing I can't get off from smoking, so I'd rather smoke it. I like the breaking it down, packing it up, the taste of it, everything.
okay. Now, just an unrelated question, man. Just because you're kind of like the guy on the street, average Joe, Michigan medical marijuana patient, or maybe you're a recreational user. I don't know.
Medical marijuana patient.
Just your opinion. What do you think about cannabis and alcohol together? Is that something you?
I mean, I'm 40. I've been around the block, so I think the two don't go together. And I'm glad at all these shows I went to last summer, I'm glad I didn't see alcohol present at none of the shows. I mean, it's we have a Rib Fest over here, and that's all they do is serve alcohol. First 5 minutes of Rib Fest, there was fights. I've never seen a fight at any of these cannabis events up in Clio, Detroit, none of them.
Yeah.
I've
only seen one, and it had nothing to do with cannabis.
Alcohol. The only one that I've seen a fight at, they were serving alcohol at. I want to say that
it just, I don't know. It's the liquid courage shit, man. I swear to God, I don't know.
Yeah.
I personally don't like mixing the two because I mean, damn, it does kick in a different kind of buzz for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
Just like back in the day, the old smoking a joint then a Newport right after. Fuck you up.
it looks like Rick's knocked out.
Yeah, Rick's falling asleep there.
I thought he was.
He's just gearing
into
up.
all
He's
the
just gearing up
possible
to go off.
futures. It looks like he's
It's
looking into all the possible futures to see which one Tony Stark can defeat Thanos.
here, over there.
So what do y'all think about the Focus? I've
I
had
haven't tried it yet.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of scared to. I've tried one twice. I did 2 dabs off my boy's Carta, and I guess it was all right. It wasn't like noticeably different than the peak really for me, but I'm not really a big dabber.
Yeah.
But since I tried it, I've been reading all kinds of shit about it's got more plastic parts and shit.
Well, that's the thing.
it gets hotter than the
I've
peak,
seen that video you're referring
hotter
to.
and it melts, and it's all
Yeah.
fucked up. I've been scared to try it again.
I've seen that video you're referring to, and I looked at all the parts. They must have upgraded all the units at some point in time, because there's like no plastic in it at all. That was one of my big concerns too.
All right, bet.
I don't dab much either, but I just started getting into this rosin solventless shit, man. That's where it's at, man. Holy shit.
Yeah. So you back with us, Rick? How you
Yeah,
doing?
Rick.
Been reading some stuff. It's good.
Yeah, just pass
On
my
the inside of his
bedtime,
eyelids,
man.
yeah.
Mhm.
We just saved you.
Yeah,
We saved you.
Shit.
It's all
We
good.
turning some infinity stones. You get it.
Medical motherfucking Monday.
Look at Georgie jamming that shit.
I know. He's steady putting
Ooh.
Yeah, see, you see how they got these crazy ass nugs, man. I want to ask them if those are PGRs because it doesn't seem like it.
Georgie
But they're
been going
most
in for
likely-
like 20
This
minutes
probably
straight,
is.
bro.
This is from a guy I used to work with. It's not from Detroit Diesel. It's Harambe, and it probably is. It's hard as a fucking rock. It is hard as a fucking. He got 3 or 4 strains that are like that. The Kush cake that came in, it was harder than the Harambe. I was like, oh, I'm hurting my finger and my thumb trying to squeeze the shit. Then I put 2 fingers on it. I was like, "Argh." It's a bitch. I get it for a buck and a half a zip, and people love it. And tear it up.
Yeah, no, it's like
Like, give people like 4 packs for like
Whether-
$7.25.
whether it's like organic or hydro or however they choose to grow it, some weed is just like naturally dense and you can
Oh,
get
yes.
some really nice crisp buds that aren't PGR.
Personally,
I
I hate
just
the.
wonder what that
I hate
guy's
the fluffy
regimen
buds.
is. 'Cause to me, it didn't seem like PGR, but I'm gonna ask him.
I don't know how long ago, but Detroit Diesel G said he took his heavy shit out, which is all your stuff that adds the weight, PGR type. Anything you would have been using that the state recently considered. But so I don't know. It was a little over a month ago, but this is from him. Let me get this. There you go. Look, there's not a dot here on it. 'Cause that
Yeah,
shit-
man, I forget my man's name. He
C
seems
Dub.
cool as hell, though, man.
Oh yeah, Chris. C-Dub, I should say, really.
Chris, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he shouldn't have, but whatever.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, I'm not putting this picture out. Yeah, that's the of the forbidden fruit. It's really fucking nice too. It's so fucking dang. The smell and taste and flavor, and it's got a good pack. Packs a nice bud, man. Really nice. I showed some Zookies to my other buddy. He's like, give me some of that. And I'm like, dude, I barely got me some right now. I was able to get 2 zips. And I haven't seen him in over a month. So
What about you, Brett?
I split it up.
What do you think about cannabis and alcohol together?
Me? I don't use it at all.
Yeah, you smoke a joint, drink some brewskis.
I think it could cause a lot of, well, definitely not safe to drive. I've had enough people drink because it does combine and make the alcohol buzz more intense or vice versa.
Yeah, it does.
That way. And I know I can't drive and drink at all. I'm just such a lightweight. I haven't drank a beer in about 2.5 years. Even before that, I was a featherweight. But I could smoke weed all day and do what I have to do. So I don't mix it at all. My wife drinks but doesn't smoke.
That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see me on my how much time I spend out here smoking. So obviously, and we get along pretty damn good. Even with this extra month.
Is your wife on her live taking glasses of wine?
She don't go online. She barely uses it anymore. She does some Facebook with her family and a couple friends. Yeah, that's why
she doesn't make TikToks.
No. I actually started making TikToks, but I can't put no weed on it because they fucking flagged me. And then
man, I never wanted it.
Hey, my fishing one's got over 1,000 views in a day. That's pretty good. I can't get that on Instagram. I can't get that on Instagram, and I got 4,100 people following me. You know what I mean?
Well, I got a TikTok question for you, man.
Get off that torch, sorry. Go ahead.
I got a TikTok question.
All right.
Who is your cameraman?
Oh, it's just me.
Who
so
holds the
far.
camera?
So far, it's just been me, but it looks like with a lot of the little different ones you can use, filters or whatever, you actually kind of need one. Because the way they be editing it and shit and making videos, I think some people are paying to get like extra things that you can't find when you go through or something. Because I see videos that I'm like, I want to do that, and I don't know how the fuck you even find it to start. But there's some cool ones, man. They're
You want the premium TikTok.
It's like they let you put pictures of weed, videos of weed, but you can't smoke it, I think, and they flag it. Because I see the other people that are like in grows walking through, and they're public feeds, and even Christy Capio, she posts stuff with weed stuff in it, but she's not really smoking it. But since I've had 7 or 8 accounts, and every time I posted something weed, they just take it down, take it down, take it down. I have to make a new email every fucking time. I'm on like my 8th one, and now I don't post
I'm
weed.
still making.
I mean, this was like an outdoor. But I'm doing okay because, like I said, my last 2 outdoor posts, overnight, over 1,000, and before that, I was getting like going down, filming guys at the Detroit River fishing, or a freighter coming through by the bridge, shit like that. Get like 700 views overnight, and that's better than Instagram. Even though Instagram's cooler because I get more interaction and I talk to people more, you know, on a more level, meet people. But it's a weird, because I posted a video of a car on fire. I saw the girl. I was walking home from the glass project last year, or driving home from the glass project last year, and I saw 2 girls walking up toward me. I'm going north on 75. They're coming back up south. Then as I get up about a quarter mile around the bend, I see a car on fire, and I figured that was theirs. And I got a video of it, and I kind of was a ways from it, and I turned it on, crept up slow, and I went around it. And overnight, I got like 10,000 views. But then that account got stripped. I was like, whoa, how the fuck does that happen? I used a couple of hashtags, 10,000 overnight. Like, it's a totally different way to get your algorithm. Because these are people who don't even follow my account see the shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just post stuff about weed, man. You got to give the people variety.
Well, I know. That's why I've been doing different shit.
Make the page all about fishing, Georgie.
No, walking through the woods, fishing.
All about fishing, bro.
Then you use the hashtag. You go in and you hit the hashtag search, and then you see the list, and they show you how many billion people use that hashtag. So you start looking for those. Then you get few more views. Same thing as Instagram, but more people seem to use the hashtag to get around and see shit. It's just more of a quicker viral shit. I don't think I'm gonna pop off much more than 1,000 overnight on this feed, but who knows? I just posted. I think Dave posted that. One of his stories I saw, so I went and I found it on abcworld.news or whatever. The facility they were making hash oil that blew up in California. I think he put it on his story. I wrote down, it was or on Facebook or something. So I went to ABC with things and I copied it and I put it on there to see what kind of thing if I hit good with that, because people love the one with the car burning. So
Georgie, do you do any fly fishing?
I haven't tried yet. I'm going to. I have a fly rod I haven't used in 2 years, so I really need to break it down.
Where you stand in the water with the waders and.
Oh, I'm in the waders all the time. I just
Georgie be out there, man. He be in the water.
Okay, well let me ask you this.
I don't use the fly rod. I just use the regular. I'm just throwing spinners, jerk baits, like crank baits, and then also spoons.
Yeah.
Looking for trout.
Do you take your peak out there?
No, I don't take the peak. I have a pretty cool. You know, some people have dab straws. Some people got those dab straws. I got one that's like, it's got like a tube that's got a bunch of little stacked tubes in it at the part you put the oil on. So there's like 20 little tiny tubes that are this long, all in it. and that's all going down too, and then it goes into the mouthpiece. So I can heat that up and then bring a little jar and dip oil on it. Just do straight hits like that, or I just roll up before I go. I don't usually bring a. I don't have the peak, but I have the one you guys were talking about that has supposedly has all the. Yeah, the card. I want it from them.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, you don't go out in the water with the Carta?
No, I
have
never,
like a little mini
I
raft.
thought about it. The Evolve Plus Excel works real good out there.
The Carta's going everywhere with me.
But I can just do huge blast off that thing.
All right.
No, I don't want to be too conspicuous out there when I'm fishing. You know, try to keep it on the low key. Pre-rolls are good. I've been packing cones a lot. Going through a lot of raws lately. A lot of raw cones, kings and 1 1/4. My wife bought me 3 packs a couple days ago. They're 6 in each, and they're gone.
Holy shit, those are big.
2 packs of the kings.
Those are big. It's a big joint.
Yeah, the kings are a little bigger, but the 1 1/4 aren't bad either. But yeah, I've been going through them like crazy. I scooped up 2 ounces from Detroit Diesel, and then I gotten 1 ounce of this other stuff, this cookie from my other buddy. I just been smoking down a little bit. I kind of been smoking a lot of flour lately. And for a while, all I was doing was dabbing. It's crazy. I've barely been dabbing. I have dabbed. I'm actually running out though, down to a few grams left. I got a little bit of my first run, a very little bit of my second run. I sold almost all that to some other patients I know, but kept the rest. Did good though. I got 5 more out and could get it back in a week or 2. See how it looks. Last time it was a little more amber gold, where the first one was piss gold and tasted like lemons and chem. It was nice. It was real nice, stable as fuck.
All right. Well, hey, Prop One. While we got you on the line, man, what size shirt do you wear?
It'll be large.
All right, cool.
And I will be in Detroit this Friday too.
Are you more of a sativa or an indica guy?
Well, I haven't had any good sativas in a long time, but I'm definitely indica hybrid.
Okay.
I like the couch lock.
Fair enough. All right, man. Well, we'll get you together.
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I guess, you know.
Thanks for telling us that you're like a DGE addict.
Yeah, man, my goal would be for you to just never buy DGE again, for you to know that, like, for that, you could get something so much better.
All right, well, you've opened my eyes, definitely. I'll take that into consideration. And I'm not one of the fuck boys wearing the DGE shirt either, so.
For sure.
Serial City in the house, Battle Creek.
For sure, man. You were a good sport. Thanks for coming on. Rick Thompson, Jamie Lowell, you guys too, man. You guys rock. You have everybody's respect and admiration, whether they want to or not, man. You guys kick that much ass.
I thought it was because I was so fucking handsome, but all right, I'll take it. Whatever I got.
I mean, man, that's not up for me to decide. So I'll take your word for it.
Okay. All right.
I can neither confirm nor to deny that.
All right. Thank you very much, Medical Mondays. It's always fun coming on.
Yeah,
Y'all
man.
are a blast, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, thanks a lot for putting this on every week. This is great. Thank you.
Oh yeah, appreciate you coming on, bro.
Hell yeah.
Bro Hams. You want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors?
Man, before we do that, man, shout out Jazz Cabbage going on tomorrow.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What do you guys got going on tomorrow?
Professor Gus Rosania from University of Michigan will be on with us tomorrow.
He teaches a class at the university, a 400 level class on cannabis. It's nice.
That's dope. So
Man,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to tune into that. What time is this happening? Where can people tune in?
4 to 6 Eastern at the Jazz Cabbage Facebook page.
Where people tune into that.
You guys have a good
There's
evening.
gonna be a lots of ill knowledge rules being dropped on Jazz Cabbage.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again, you guys.
For sure.
Okay. Have a good one.
Later.
All right. For sure, man. And also, big shout out to all our sponsors: Treetop Labs, Honeybee Extractions, Native Made 313, Ghostbuster Farms, Western Tobacco, Michigan Ganja Queen, Valhalla Labs, Ipsy Oil Supply, Michigan Turp Farms, and Label My Motherfucking Bud.
boom.
Oh, and them new slaps are fire, Berg. Show them the new slaps.
And these
Shout out
stickers.
Label My Bud. Check this out,
Yeah.
guys, man. It's our new speaker. You got to get closer, Berg. Closer. The new slaps are fire, man. You got the little
Hell yeah.
Medical
Like
Place logo at the top. You got fucking Berg and Roach on there. And that QR code links you to our YouTube.
Boom.
Oh, nice.
Like you could literally point your phone at the screen right now and pick up that QR and go to the YouTube that you're already on watching us. I don't know. You would probably open a portal to another dimension,
Whoa.
but it is possible.
Whoa.
I also want to say big shout out to Cannabis Promos 313.
For sure.
These shirts are cool as fuck.
Definitely.
Fire.
I gotta say, Berg, we've been lucky, man. We've worked with some good people. We've had some dope ass sponsors. We're pretty lucky in that respect, man.
All right, y'all. Tune in next week. Do we know who the guest is next week?
I mean, we got 1/3 of them to agree to do it.
Stay tuned to the fucking IG and all that. You'll find out tomorrow or the next day or whatever.
Yeah, 1/3 of the people agreed. So stay tuned.
All right, y'all. Peace.